Welcome back, everyone. Mike here. I just made a little firewood delivery there over to neighbor Cliff's, and I came back and moved this other basket here because we're going to do some work down here at the Renewable Resources Processing Center. I cleared this whole area down here probably, I don't know, 10 years ago, and this is all fill right here. And I had cleared some trees down in there, but I never went that far. What I'd like to do is maybe bring a road down in through here, come this way, and then out towards that point there and loop it right back around. I could use that down there for some additional storage, and out there on that point I could dig a nice shale pit there to always have some nice fill material. I have some big stumps down there. None of these trees here, they're kind of all scraggly and torn up anyway, so I'll just knock them down and put them over to the burn pit there. I got a fire going, more like a smolder going. It's not really taken off yet, but I'll get that going. So I'm going to head up and get the excavator and get started. But before I do that, I want to walk down in here and show you something. So I usually mention, I don't know, every 15 or 20 videos about people always asking why I don't plant trees. They always see me cutting trees. And, you know, every couple weeks I'll mention it again. But this is another spot right here that's a good example. You can see these stumps in here. This was kind of big woods in here. Some decent sized oaks and things. And none of these little trees were in here. So what happened is you cut those big ones down. All these little cherry trees start growing on their own. That's just the way it works down here. And then these will start getting bigger. The stronger ones will survive. The smaller ones will kind of just go away. And then you'll get some oaks in here, and it'll be back like those oaks over there eventually. So that's why we don't plant trees. Nobody planted any of these. It just happened. I'm just pulling up to the house here, and I can see grandson Ty looking out the window. He spent the night last night, and he's been hanging out with us today. They'll be coming to pick him up soon. But man, he loves watching these tractors and the excavator and stuff. Really, really into that. He's getting into a really fun age. You know what I mean? I think he's about 15 months old now, but he really enjoys it. But this morning, I had every intention on starting to work on the plumbing, roughing in the plumbing in the new building. And I'll be honest, it's just too cold. It's like 15 degrees right now. I did talk to the concrete guy the other day. He's looking at about 3 weeks out. But we're going to have to get that floor thawed out after I get the plumbing roughed in. And speaking of plumbing, a guy that watches our channel, he's from the Pittsburgh area. I was looking through some emails this morning, and I apologize, by the way. We try to reply to everybody, but it's impossible. It is. And sometimes when we do, it's months later. But I was going through some emails, and I was answering some people, and there was one I have to get back to tonight. He owns a plumbing business in the area, and he offered to come up and rough in the plumbing for us. And I'm going to get back to him tonight. I'm going to pay him. He said he would do it just because he enjoys our videos, but I'm absolutely going to pay him for his time. But it would be great if we could work together and get it knocked out. Something that I can do, but somebody that does it every day will be much better, much faster. And that plumbing underneath the concrete slab, I definitely don't want to screw around with it. I want to make sure it's absolutely perfect because you only have one chance at that unless you want to bust out your floor later on, and that's something that I don't want to do. But anyway, I'm going to hop on the excavator right now. We're going to go down there and start knocking down some trees. right, I'm getting down in here pretty good. I put the 18-inch bucket on because I'm going to be digging some stumps out down here. But I like the 30-inch a little bit better using the thumb. I discovered that because the way the thumb closes, it goes in between the teeth on the 30-inch, and on the 18-inch, it hits the teeth, if that makes sense. I don't know if you can see that. So, see, the thumb hits those two middle teeth. On the 30-inch bucket, it kind of straddles the teeth, which is better, at least for what I'm doing. But this works out good. I mean, so earlier I was talking about plumbing in the new building, and it reminded me of a story from a long time ago. This would have been, I was probably 17 or 18 years old, so that would have been, what, 36 years ago, something like that. I worked for this construction company, and I worked in the yard, and I learned how to kind of run equipment and cranes and stuff. I would load trucks that were heading out to the jobs. I did pressure washing, did a little bit of everything, but like the first year, it was mostly just whatever they needed me to do, washing vehicles. I just did a little bit of everything. Well, anyway, the owner of the company, he was a bit of a hothead, you know what I mean? And he was very particular about his stuff, like his landscaping and his flowers at his house. You know, when you'd wash his vehicle, it had to be just perfect. So anyway, one day I'm in the shop there, and they called and said the old man needed me to get a big snake from back in the shop to clean out a drain in his house. Well, I'm like 17, 18 years old. I'm no plumber, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I can do that. So I get this big snake. It's on wheels and big coil, got this big claw on the end of it. And I load it in the truck and I take it over to his house. He lived in this big fancy house. It's real nice. And I lugged this thing downstairs through the basement entrance. And he told me, he said, there's the floor drain right there. You need to run that snake through there. It's plugged up. And that's where the problem is. Take care of it. Like, no problem, right? So first time I ever used an electric snake like that, I plug it in, it starts turning, I'm feeding this thing down through this drain, and I get maybe 30, 35 feet, not hitting any obstructions at all. All of a sudden I hit something. I'm like, this gotta be it, right? So I'm back and forth, I can't get through it. And I'm yelling upstairs to him, I'm like, I think I hit it, but I can't get through it. He's like, keep trying. I'm like, all right. So back and forth, finally this thing goes through. I'm like, actually worked out, right? I'm all excited. So I feed about another 15, 20 feet through it, trying to get it all cleaned out real good. And he starts screaming from upstairs, shut it off, flipping out, yelling all kind of swear words and stuff. And I shut it off. And here apparently that floor drain went underneath the basement, and then it went outside, and there was either a clean out or a vent pipe, one of the two, I don't even know. And that snake went straight up right by his living room window, and he had all this beautiful landscaping, and I got about 15 feet of it out there, and it's turning around, ripping his flowers out, scraping, you know, banging off the house. He was mad. He was really mad, and I was like, hey, should have called a plumber. You know what I mean? I'm like 17 years old. But every time I see or hear about trying to unplug a drain, I think of that story. All right, my fire's starting to go a little bit there. I think it's going to take off, so I don't want to put too much on there. But I'm getting a nice start here. I'm just kind of ramping down into here. I'll bring a saw down here and cut this one up. I'll get a little bit of firewood out of it. I'm going to leave like these nice oaks down there, but I just want to come right around here. I'll get these stumps out of here, rest of these little ones out of here. And yeah, that should work out pretty good. Once I get these firewood totes here out of the way, you know, I'll come right down in through here. That'll give me a whole bunch more room. And it's really not going to be that steep getting down into there. That should work out pretty good. And maybe even over in there is where I'll get my shale pit. You have to make sure, you know, that water will drain. You don't want to just dig a hole. So you need to come in from the outside of the hill back in this way. Make sure it doesn't fill up with water and turn into a big mess. But yeah, this will give me a whole bunch more room down in here. Tomorrow morning, what I'm going to do is get this fire going good and hot and get everything in that burn pit burn up. And then once it burns down some, I'll come back down in here and I should be able to cruise right around this hill, no problem at all. Right now, Levi and Kate, I think, are coming up to pick up Ty. So I'm going to go up and see them. Got to climb up out of here. It's pretty steep right here. But this machine, it's nice and stable. I'm really liking it. Really nice. But anyway, we will continue this in the next video. And like I always say, I appreciate you guys being here. And if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, share them with your friends. Thanks.